I'm heading to an interview today, one that's deeply personal for me. The person I'm about to meet is a Holocaust survivor. Both my grandparents were also survivors. Growing up, they told me their stories. My grandfather was a French soldier until the Nazi occupation. He created a false ID that changed his Jewish-sounding last name into an Italian-sounding one. My grandmother and her parents were taken by French police following German orders. Her parents were sent to a concentration camp where they were killed. The subject I'm speaking with today is going to share his own story, but in an unusual way.
My name is Pinchas Gutter. I am a Holocaust survivor, and I am now an elderly gentleman. And I live in Toronto, and I lead a reasonably satisfying life.
Are you real?
I'm a real person.
Do you remember when you first learned that there was a war?
We were in a train, and the war had already started, and memory is a bit hazy.
Pinchas is not an avatar, he's video. And we preserve that video like we would preserve any other memory source on video. We're not changing his comments, we're not digitally manipulating them. What you get in the answer is what he gave. And the idea is that then it becomes an archive in its own right.
How many concentration camps did you go to?
I went through 5 concentration camps. The first concentration camp I went to was a camp called Majdanek. My parents and my twin sister, they were murdered on the same day that we arrived there.
We asked Pinchas about 1,500 questions about his life. And what's happening is when you're asking questions, it's using automatic speech recognition and natural language processing to go and find the most appropriate answer for the question that you asked.
How did you stay hopeful?
What motivated me not to give up? First of all, I was a child. Nobody knew how it's going to end.
Tell me about this idea of technology being used to bridge the empathy gap.
We made a decision that we were not going to make this a technology-driven project, but that the technology should be subsumed behind the authenticity of the real voice of the individual. There's a lot of tech involved here, but you don't see it. You shouldn't see it. What you should really do is experience that emotional connection with the interviewee. You can't replace a human being, but what this does is close the gap a little.
Were you scared?
I don't remember fear. It's very interesting. I shut off all emotions by feeling, and that's affected me up to this day, where I was flowing with the current, but consciously, I didn't think, so what's going to happen when they murder you? I don't want to be murdered, but I'm going to be murdered because this is how I felt. I knew I was going to die. It's very difficult to understand. Even I can't understand it today that I didn't have any emotional feelings about fear of actually dying.
We have a race against time, and obviously, their future is now. I mean, we do it now or it won't be recorded for the benefit of the future. So we have focused actually so far on capturing their stories rather than displaying their stories, because we can display them later.
Were you always comfortable talking about your experience after the war?
It was extremely difficult in the beginning, but I think because of the reasons that I believe are so strong that I should talk, and because I do share it with people. So every time I talk and every time you listen to me, you get a piece of me which is now embedded in you.